Honestly, did you not read the colony policy that defined you as company property? That wavers your say in autonomy. The conglomerates got you in lock and key. We are a family forged in bureaucracy. No I in team, but there's con in economy. Were you expecting adventure? Were you hoping for fun? My friend, you're indentured and pleasures exempt from your tenure, so venture back down to your slum. You should have read the fine print, my friend. Should have read the fine print. You should have read the fine print, my friend. Should have read the fine print.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Manapot Studios. I am Karen Rossmore, and welcome to Fly Free or Die. All in our that should be all that glitters explode. Our playthrough of Fly Free or Die. I'll get it right one of these days. Not today. My pronouns are he, him. And mumble. Over to Flimsy.
Hello, I'm JStation64 and I'm playing Flimsy the Dwarf Mechanic, pronouns he, him. And Flimsy really enjoyed checking out that barn. It was a really, really good barn.
Hi, I'm Krifu Bernal. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Yeva, the Sarkeesian Witch Warper, who is very much looking forward to a nice long rest here on the ranch. And is hoping not to be woken up at dawn by a space rooster of some sort.
Yo, I'm Kurt Commissions. I play Trix, the space pirate extraordinaire. She's wondering why everything seems to go through her throat. But she's good.
I am Jahir. No, I'm Retro Ted. I play Jahir, who is a Kasatha soldier, now level 4. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I am wondering if I can fit a Defrax under my cloak.
So, we'll start off with the pack facts. I'm not entirely sure what the topic is this week. I have forgotten.
It's all about Jahir's love for Defrax.
Okay, it's all about Jahir's love for Defrax. And it's brought to you by Retro Ted. Over to you, Retro Ted.
Yeah, I was banned from doing anything to do with Defrax. So today's pack facts is titled Gravity or a Lack Thereof. Now, for some of us, gravity can be important, while others aren't aware of its effects until they fall over. It is an unseen force that plays a large role in our lives, especially so when it comes to travelling through space and visiting other celestial objects. Does Jahir consider it when he runs headlong into a fight? No, probably not. Does Trix factor it in when she plots a course on the Fool's Gold's next destination? Let's all hope so, because otherwise we'll probably die. So, say we place Jahir on a planet with a higher gravity than Kasath. He's going to feel heavier, slower, less effective than normal. No amount of bragging about his battle prowess is going to change that fact. Place him on a low gravity planet where he's going to feel like a super soldier, jumping higher, moving further, and making blood splatter platons fly around enough to make Dexter Morgan proud. God forbid he could ever encounter an extreme gravity planet, receiving 1d6 of bludgeoning damage or more every round until he dies. If he can die, that's not been ascertained yet. In last week's episode, Jahir was trapped in a cargo bay, which was depressurized. The ship's power systems have gone out, and now that fancy gravity generator on the Fool's Gold was nothing more than a large paperweight. This meant that Jahir was also trapped in zero gravity. We've all been told that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, say Jahir decides to fire his rail cannon to move himself around. The round is going to fly out of the barrel at a set speed and direction, mainly wherever it was aimed. At the same time, Jahir is going to be pushed back in the opposite direction at a similar speed, probably very hard and into a wall. Chiron would then have to calculate the bludgeoning damage caused to Jahir, and Jahir would be laughing while rearranging his ribs back into position. So, Jahir decided to push off the wall in an attempt to travel across the cargo bay to shut the open airlock that had exploded open. This is classed in Starfinder as an uncontrolled movement in 0G. Jahir will sail and did sail across the cargo bay like a super soldier, unable to adjust his course without the aid of another object to push off from within reach of the creature, of him. I refer to myself as a creature quite often, without some kind of thrust. He will continue to move at half his land speed in that direction at the start of every turn. Unfortunately, Jahir forgot to factor this in, so he's there to lead, not to read, after all. Thankfully, he passed a D20 saving throw with a natural 20, allowing him to catch onto a handhold and bring himself gracefully to the airlock like a cat, whatever a cat is. If the saving throw had failed, however, and without some other force to change his trajectory occurring, the result would have been him crashing into a bulkhead, suffering bludgeoning damage, and being off kilter. Or Jahir would still now be sailing out through the cosmos on his long journey, even after he ran out of air. A better plan for Jahir would have been pulling himself along the handholds mounted on a wall, a far safer move if controlled movement, providing he passed a D20 acrobatics or athletics check. Any equipment that gives the ability to fly in atmosphere, such as wings or turbofans, will not work in a vacuum. So these are null and void. Magical means of flight, such as Yaba's beautiful wings or a thrust jump jets, are a preferred method of propulsion in this situation, neither of which Jahir had. A character in 0G and class as off-kilter could throw an item of at least 4 bulk for a medium-sized creature and 2 bulk for a small-sized creature to correct this condition and reorientate themselves. Any weapons thrown in 0G have the range multiplied by 10, with ranged weapons suffering no maximum range increments, just a penalty to accuracy the further the target is away from them. And as a bit of added info on fighting and moving in 0G, any wounds suffered in a 0G environment, even seemingly minor ones, can have more of a drastic outcome. The bodies of creatures such as Jahir are used to healing on a normal gravity planet. Unfortunately, that's not space and a vacuum. In 0G, the blood would pool around the wound, causing it not to scab, resulting in Jahir bleeding out from a paper cut. So, now you know how to handle yourself when it comes to gravity, and EJ Corp will accept no responsibility for damage or loss of life in these environments.
All right, thank you for that, Retrodad. I probably need to review the rules on 0G. It's one of them where it doesn't come up all that often, but when it does, it's usually got some interesting consequence to it. Such as you flying outside of the airlock, and I'm pretty sure somebody would have been around to pick you up by now.
That's why I decided to do it, because you said, you weren't sure on it, and then I've been doing stuff with the Expanse, and that is very hard when it comes to physics and things like that, like true to form. So I thought that would be a good one to pick.
Thank you for inviting us down here for your presentation, Jahir, but it wasn't really that necessary.
No, it's okay. I've been drawing some pictures as well if you want to come and look.
That's where my spray paint went.
But yes, just as a brief recap for the previous session, you'd managed to get the defects on board the ship. You travelled and got Jahir patched up medically, and with regards to the necrograft, fixed that. And you were on your way to Vesk 3, I'm going to say, to drop off the cargo. When, unfortunately, the cargo started exploding and running buck wild around the ship, knocking off and disrupting some of the power grid in the process. You did fine work at scouting out and finding the parts of a ship where the power was fluctuating and draining out. You sorted most of them out post haste, with the major points of interest I feel being Tricks in the Hollow Lounge, getting shot at with either holograms in a true holodeck failure simulation, and also Jahir nearly getting sucked out of the ship, as he just detailed in rather gruesome detail.
No, being sucked out of a ship is a whole nother situation. That's the next pack facts I'm doing. Explosive decompression is not always a thing.
But you managed to patch up the Fool's Gold and arrive on Vesk 3 with most of your cargo intact. You lost a few heads, but not that many, I believe. I think you're down to 80.
Yeah, considering they were blowing up inside a small ship, we managed to save a significant number of them.
Yeah, you lost 10. They were more localized explosions, and defects are hardy beasts, so... But...
Thankfully.
It wasn't like they were all bubbles that you were trying to transport around and just one pops and then they all just cascading up. But anyway...
Shouldn't have brought that shipment of vases with them as well. Terrible idea.
You managed to arrive on Vest 3, unload your cargo, and while the residents were giving you a tour of the place, the new barn that they decided to set up, the cause of their bane and the reason why they decided to get some defects in the first place decided to show itself in the form of two Stridermanders, who then promptly attacked the crew. You gave a good fight, however, at a crucial moment, in charges... I forgot the name of the pet that you want.
I don't think we named it.
Did you forget the name?
Did I
forget the name?
Yeah, it was named.
Retro Ted knows it, but Jahir is being stubborn.
You mean the saviour that came in like a wrecking ball through the doors, mauled everyone, made us look bad, was the one and only Mama D. As named by Ghost of Sunny, I think, actually. So.
Yes, Mama D came in like a wrecking ball and helped clean up. It wasn't, you weren't on the back foot.
He was bathed in light and moving in slow motion as well. So got that.
Although angels sang their arrival.
Well, Retro Ted, Jahir might have been treated medically for the necrograft. Apparently, hallucinations are still on the menu. After that, the residents invited you, in gratitude for taking care of that, to stay at the farm ranch for as long as you need.
Very nice offer.
At which point you duly leveled up, and unless you have any plans of leaving early, we can also take care of all of the wounds that you currently have. Tricks.
Yeah.
I will just say that my HP and my SP combined are now 64, so that seems like fun.
Ooh.
I lost 31 in last week, so that wouldn't even go into my stamina points.
Yes. But what, quick thing, matter of paperwork to a certain degree, what did everybody get for their level ups? Let's start off with Jahir.
I picked acrobatics because I wasn't happy with the +5, so now I've got +6 in it. I've got perception for a +5 now, and survival for a +7. And I picked improved initiative to give me +4 when I roll for initiative, because I always seem to roll very low. So
be glad to have you up front.
Just going to bake that into your character sheet. There we go. All right, and Trix.
Trix was very simple this level. She got her very first debilitating trick, which at level 4 is just the ability to make the enemy flat-footed if she hits with a trick attack, and if she succeeds on her trick attack roll, which is 20 plus the creature's CR, then if she then hits it, the creature is flat-footed for the round, which is going to help the rest of the team. Later levels, I'll get to pick fun debilitating tricks. That's just the basic one you start with. And for her operative exploit, there we go, she took Shuriken Mastery, because why not? She's got 9 of the things, 1 permanently around her deck. So she figured out she might as well learn how to use them on the holodeck.
And around the ranch, they've got no qualms with you.
Around the ranch, yeah.
As long as you don't kill anybody or break anything of value.
No, she had her own little Naruto training montage.
Yeva?
Yeva's got access to 2nd level spells, so I learned 2 very cool spells, which I'll hold on to for a little bit. But I also switched out one of my 1st level spells. I think, when she first started, she had taken very subtle spells like Charm Person and Confusion, because she was very much hiding her magical abilities. But now she's more like giving into them and reveling in them. So I switched out Lesser Confusion for a spell called Expand Worlds, Enduring Worlds, excuse me, which I can now cast to extend the duration of my Infinite Worlds ability. Normally that lasts for like 1 round, maybe a few more, depending on how it works. But especially now that I can do Infinite Worlds using 2nd level spells instead of just bright lights or difficult terrain. I can create hazards that create ongoing effects, which normally would I would have to extend a 2nd level spell slot to get one of those enduring effects. I could then cast a 1st level spell on top of that to extend it for 4 rounds. So
Nice.
it's a little tricky. I mean, that's 2 spells to use up, but using the right situation, it could change the battle.
Yeah, that extended duration, because otherwise, for that same duration, you're having to blow 2 2nd level slots, and I don't even think it comes close to that duration.
It doesn't. That 2nd level spell slot, the hazard is lasting for 2 rounds. So to increase it by over double the amount is pretty intense.
Yeah, for a lesser spell slot as well. And Flimsy.
Lindsay's worried about seeing more portals filled with needles in the near future. Flimsy spent a little bit of time chilling on the ranch, tinkering with his little arm device, thinking that they've been ambushed and attacked too many times, and has fitted himself with an energy shield, which gives him temporary HP and will increase as he levels and as he gets more intelligence based on intelligence and mechanic level. So at the moment, it's giving him 8 HP as a temporary. It lasts for 1 minute. Or you can use a resolve to spruce it up a bit if you want to. It's pretty much all he got. I will say as well that I appreciated that the witch, because we've got an operative, a witch warper, and a mechanic, and a soldier, that for Jahir, choosing which ranks to choose is like an actual choice, whereas I think for the rest of it, it's like, oh yeah, we get like 15 choices. Like we can fill all of them up with ranks.
I'm for Witch Warper. It is quite low how many.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, the base classes, I feel that they were very generous with their skill ranks. And so when it comes to the extended character operations manual and the rest of them, they've toned back some of the skills. So yeah, you really do. You do get to benefit when you're the mechanic and the operative and the envoy.
I think envoys and
Skill
operatives
monkeys.
come at the top end of the skill monkey tree. especially if you have points in intelligence in there as well.
Well, that's the main reason why the mechanic also tends to be fairly high up there, because mechanics intelligence is a key score ability. So they get a reasonable number of ranks and then a lot of intelligence. Whereas the operative and the envoy are more likely to be dex and charisma based.
Whereas Jahir and I are getting 4 plus our intelligence modifier of skill rank.
Yeah, which is why Jahir gets 3.
Oh no, is it a -1 intelligence? Oh no.
Yeah,
okay.
Either actually has double the number of Jahir in skill ranks.
Oh gosh.
Jahir has skill in absolutely eviscerating things, which none of the rest of us really do, to be fair. So that's fair
Also
enough.
has 20 more points in stamina and health than I do, so.
And also, when Jahir hits, they hit like a truck. You know, even at this level 4, it's a +10 modifier to damage. It's just, it's obscene.
Plus, he's the best Defrex boy on this team.
Indeed. Yeah. He's a secret cowboy.
All right. So you've had some time. How long shall we say that you're staying? A week?
Week
The
seems
ranch?
reasonable.
At the ranch?
Got to fix the ship as well.
Because we did get
You gotta clean the
visited
ship.
by that. Is it the same planet we got visited by that guy, or is it it's a different planet, right? The Noir.
Different planet.
Different planet. Okay, but still, it's not a reassuring occurrence, is it? In terms of staying in the one place too long. But we need a holiday.
We don't have anywhere to go. And I don't know, there's something about this place that reminds Yeva of home. She grew up on a ranch raising Sarkeesian cows. So, you know, there is, as much as she's tried to escape it, there is a little bit of familiarity and comfort here for her.
But I think Jahir would find comfort in dealing with the animals and helping out around as well.
So is everybody sort of like helping around the ranch, or are you taking liberty of their hospitality?
He'll be helping out where he can, keeping their mechanical bits in order, and if they've got any, like, you know, fixing the old space tractor, that kind of thing. Observing the dawn of horizons every morning.
Also, Clinton Flimsy is possibly given the Fool's Gold to one server.
Yeah, with there's a couple of events that happened on the Fool's Gold.
Just don't give it a once over with a mining laser. Again.
And Trix, how are you coping?
Trix has been making gratuitous use of one of the barn walls and just peppered with a shuriken like mark. She's been trying to make a picture out of it for this entire week.
Either are you helping out much at the ranch, or are you just lounging and...
I'm sure that during the montage, there's like a humorous scene where she attempts to like feed the Diffrax and like falls like head over heels over the fence and into like some dirt or mud or something, and it's just like and everyone laughs.
I thought you were going to say head over heels in love with them. That went a different way.
No, I mean, unless there's a no, she doesn't. Never mind, forget about it.
I like the idea of Eva taking it easy in like one of the cabins, Flimsy walking through it. You grew up on a farm, right? Is that right?
Right, on the ranch in the diaspora.
Oh, that's interesting. You stay there. Don't worry about it. You stay there. Heading out. Just passive aggressively reminding Eva, who's doing nothing, that they have farm experience.
She shrugs. I mean, this is exactly what she did back home when she was a kid. So she's right where she needs to be.
In bed.
She's probably in the lab, during the day, the arcane lab, thinking about making maybe some of his healing serums. might not be the worst idea spending some credits to make some healing serums. We're spending a week.
Putting the lab back together.
Yeah, after all of that.
And no skulls back on the shelf.
A couple of days in, Calm comes along to sort of gather you together. Settling the bill?
Yes, Flimsy. Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. It was one ship share for every 10 heads, and you delivered 80 in total?
Yes.
With a bonus of 5 ship shares if you delivered even one, which if you delivered at least 60, which you did.
Sweet.
So that will be 8 plus 5, 13 ship shares.
Yep.
There is also the credit reward, and with your assistance in the barn against Stridomancers, we're willing to give 3,000 credits.
No.
Not total. Or total, not each.
Yeah, total.
Okay.
That's what we agreed on.
Yes.
It's
Oh no,
slightly
actually,
more.
it's more than we agreed on. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's more than you agreed on.
That's much appreciated.
Can't remember what I agreed on, but I remembered it was less than what I'm supposed to give you.
It was less. I have the figure here. Jahir, did you had an interest in Mama D? Is that still something are you ready to take on a pet?
Well, I mean, you've got Zoban and Trix has got that other thing that just hangs around, And Mama D did us a solid. I mean, she's just majestic. Look at her in the field over there. She's been there for us. We've been there for her. I feel that we've bonded. And her babies are at least 2 weeks old now, so they're fine on their own. So if we've got the space, I'd like to adopt her. If that's possible. Don't worry, I'm not going to run her around the ship while you're awake. But I'd love to. It's if we could.
Speaking of space, at the moment you've got 6 crew quarters. 1 for Jahir, 1 for Trix, 1 for Yeva, 1 for Flimsy, 1 for Zoban, and 1 for 3 goblins.
Thought they lived on the holodeck.
No.
In their own version of engineering.
They've got 6 cabins to themselves.
To make sure they don't get in the way of the.
And that's why they stay, so that they're entertained.
Well, we've still got the pens. We don't have to knock all of them down, do we?
You kind of do.
We could always see if maybe the goblins wanted to lend a hand here. Maybe we could do a trade of labor.
Sounds good.
We'll take a defrex off your hand in exchange
give them the
for 3
goblins,
They said they were looking for a
my
new
mind.
home, right? If I remember correctly. Or were they just looking to get out into the universe? I can't quite remember.
They were looking for a new home.
Oh, cool.
But it was one of them where it's like, if you want to keep them around to see the universe, they're not going to complain too much.
Isn't this place called like the Home of the Lost or something?
We were at a sanctuary before.
Oh, maybe that's what it was, maybe.
I'd rather have 3 goblin interns, unpaid interns on hand for labor on our ship.
Through as chaotic as they've been, they have been helpful.
Could we train this Mama D to carry cargo, load the ship for us?
That's a really good question. Like out of character, that's a really cool idea.
I mean, I'd be willing to allow for with appropriate animal handling checks, them to function as a horse and carriage, as it were.
That way we can write it off as a business expense as well.
Well, I mean, I'm quite happy to bunk with her, you know, if you don't want her having her own room. That's, you know.
That's not really feasible. There's not enough room in the rooms for 2 creatures like that. It's a bit of a squeeze getting all the goblins to stay in one room.
Just push and shut the door.
Maybe out of character, if we were to take on Ramadi, are we going to need to lose either the goblins or Zobin?
That's what I'm thinking. Is like, otherwise your ship is going to start getting real packed.
It's a packed world, get it? Yay.
By the way, well remembered, Skitter Haven Ranch, home with a found.
With a found, there we go. The opposite of what I said.
Well, you remembered it was a home of something, so I'm giving it to you.
Home of the Lost, that's next door.
Is it possible I could have bought some UPBs here on the ranch?
Yeah, they've got buckets of UPBs for maintenance purposes.
I'm half tempted to buy extra just in case we might need something on the road. First,
Good plan.
I need to see how much we're getting paid.
Yeah.
And see.
Do you want me to divvy up the money?
Yes, please.
Sounds good.
And then see what I have after buying a personal upgrade, or just keep putting that money aside for a personal upgrade.
Boom, divvy up the money. Do you want any? Oh, no, it's too late now. You got 2 credits in the party funds.
I will give you 2 credits for your defrex, my friend.
Don't forget, Yaver, to a certain degree, it might be worthwhile asking other people if they have UPBs that they may or may not be using.
Oh, does anyone have UPBs that they could?
You just see Tricks like putting them down on the table like a puzzle piece. Like just a stack of like rough. You think a ballparking figure of 250 of them, and she's just like, what?
That is. Would you mind if I took some of those to make healing serums?
I mean, sure. She just grabs them and just like.
So I can make 5 Mark 1 healing serums with these.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Way to go, Tricks! Saving up those UPBs.
I honestly didn't know what they were.
I'm gonna throw. We'll throw them in the party fund for now. The 5 healing serums, so that everybody can grab one.
Nice.
So yeah, Tricks, have you just erase your UPBs?
Already
and all?
done.
Cool. Serum of Healing, Mark 1.
Yay!
5 of them in the party sheet.
Nice.
Sweet.
Okay.
So, did we make a decision on whether or not we were going to invite anybody to leave? Or we've not asked if Zobin wants to leave, I guess.
That's up to Jahir.
That's true.
Okay. I understand. Look, I'll stay behind on the ranch. Mama D can take my place. You go off on adventures, and maybe our paths cross later in life.
No, we're saying, do you want to trade the goblins for a defrex, and then obviously pay for the defrex, Jahir?
Well, I mean, I think you know my answer, but it's a crew decision. It's the goblins are breathing oxygen and using the toilet often, and they probably do other things as well. But
No, I've not seen them do anything.
okay, no, let's get rid of them then.
All right.
Well, we've not asked Zobin. They've not exactly been super excited to all of the danger we've been. Maybe they'll appreciate setting up a franchise here on Vesk 3.
I think it's best to summon the four of them together. We could meet upstairs or in the cargo hold and have a conversation that the time has come and someone must leave.
We have traditions on Kassath, and we put them in a room, put a couple of daggers in there, and let them sort it out themselves.
It's just I got this mental image of you just like gather them in the cargo hold, and it's like, okay, we're running out of space. Some of you must go, and you just throw a dagger into the middle of them, and it's like,
Fight four, interns enter. One, let's leave.
Honestly, I'd be taking bets on the goblins if that were to be the case.
The Defrax doesn't have to get into Flight Club. That's all right.
The goblins are sort of like they're more than happy to be left here. Bonus points if anybody remembers the name of the goblins.
Oh,
Do you have that?
Remember,
I had it
is a strong word. Have written down could be the case.
Now I wish I kept my notes in order. Rattle, Snarp, Flea, Grebe, and Goog.
Goog.
Flea was the one I remembered. Yeah.
I get the bonus points. Do I get another Defrax?
No.
I will give you a free Defrax, sir, if you can name these 3 goblins on your ship.
They've only been there 4 months.
Everyone's sweating.
Zurban doesn't mind the traveling, but they were kind of hoping to hit more civilized parts of the universe. With the food cart and everything. The Defrax don't seem to be interested in paying for food. It's a little bit rough. If you want me to leave, I can leave, but please drop me somewhere off with a population higher than the number of animals around.
You don't want to make some delicious Deflex mix. It'll be a big seller.
I need the Defrex meat, not the whole Defrex. Managed to scrape some off the walls in this place, but
very enterprising of you.
Hey, those sandwiches were delicious.
And it was chicken.
Everything's pronounced chicken in the Shuren language.
Well, Fleagrub, Rattlesnarp, Goog, it has been, it's been working with you. If you need a review or a reference, please feel free to ask Flimsy.
You've been little rotters, but wiping a tear away. Like I've really come to like you guys, and you've turned it around, and these barriers you made. Sure, as soon as something happened, they all fell apart, and it cost me all of my UPBs. But still, you gave it a good go, and it kept them in there for a while. And I couldn't ask more than that from you. So good luck with your new
you also
adventures.
gave them like next to no money to make these barriers out of.
Apparently, it was 5 healing serums worth, which I didn't realize.
Yeah, stack up 5 healing serums. See how big of a fence you get.
Yes, that's true.
To be fair, at our level now, a Mark 1 healing serum is at best gonna keep us from dying.
It's a wake-up juice.
Which,
Yeah, it was one of them where I was wondering if you were going to start going and stretching for the Mark IIs, but I can't remember how much they cost.
or something. That's a big difference. 425. I mean, they heal 3d8 hit points, which is a huge jump. But again, the price from 50 credits to 425.
Especially when it's a huge jump in healing, but a bigger jump in cost, because it's like you could stab somebody with 3 healing serums Mark 1 for the same amount of healing. Half the price.
Exactly.
3 actions, though.
That's where it boils down to. It's the action economy.
But we don't have a. This is our method of having a healer. So here we go.
Yeah. Long rests in ranches and healing serums. So
I am still tempted to buy some more UPPs just to have on hand in case something happens. And I've got some extra credits to play with. But I'll hold. I'd like to go shopping.
Let's find a system with more than a gift shop.
We still got all our gear on, our outfits on, our cowboy hats and spurs and good.
Mine's definitely equipped at the moment.
So who interacted the most with the Skinamander?
I want to say flimsy. I mean, the only interaction I've had is I yeeted it into a barn.
Which they were very grateful for.
Yeah, probably be myself or Yiva. Although, did you hear you were talking to a lot of them about ranching?
True, but they're riley little characters. I try and stay away, and they keep talking, and it just makes me want to remove their heads.
Flimsy immediately goes very quiet around you here.
Are you sorted here for the mount thing?
Me?
Not the mount. The defects. There's a way of logging it in the character sheet, and I can't remember how. We'll have to take that up off air.
I thought we were still saying goodbye to the goblins.
Well, no, you were dealing with the logistics of want that, don't want these.
All right.
Are we insulted on the goblins to see that we've replaced them with a space cow?
Oh, they're not fussed. There's plenty of farm machinery around here that they get to play with.
I'd just like to say before they leave, small, inconsequential, and Fleabag was your name. It's been a pleasure. I've never in my entire career been so tempted to kill someone, and you have paid dividends in my resolve. I thank you for that. But obviously, if you're not part of the crew, then that doesn't count anymore. So get out of here.
Bye.
Go on, get out of here. Go. We don't want you no more. You get out.
That's exactly what I was
Turn around
thinking.
now. You're not welcome anymore. I could go on. Weren't you the ones that tried to fix the engine in the sky?
Flimsy, probably coming towards the end of the week. You get a phone call.
Oh, it's on vibrate. 1 second. Hello.
You're come face to face with a Vesk.
Takes the phone away from his ear. Is it a familiar? Oh, it's not a familiar vest. Oh, wow.
Not a familiar Vesk.
Heroic jawline on that guy. If it's a guy.
He's got a very
Greetings.
frog-like face.
A little bit.
Greetings, I am Esho
Eshovayo?
Eshovio, yeah.
Eshovayo. Fireheart.
Mr. Fireheart. Hello.
I am an officer of the Veskari military,
Uh-oh.
and I have a job offer for you.
Oh, that's much better. A job from the military. What exactly would that entail?
I'd rather not discuss it over a unsecure line. Could you, at your earliest convenience, come to Command 3?
Man 3. How is it you heard those, if you don't mind me asking? Can I try and do a sense motive on whatever he says back?
Calm had described you as a loyal ally to the Emperor.
Oh, okay.
And judging from their excitement about your recent exploits, I didn't think you would be... Well, I don't think you'll shirk away from a little danger.
Oh, no, danger is our middle and second to middle name. Perhaps, yes, we will definitely come and hear your offer on Command 3.
All right, I will make arrangements here. I'll see you soon.
Whereabouts in Command 3? Oh, he's gone. Well, do we know anything about Command 3? Is it a built-up area where we can go shopping?
It is a built-up area. Command is the name of the district that the Vesk establish on all occupied worlds. Very strong military presence, very strong Vesk presence, but always where there's a military and there is a lot of people, the commerce, housing, industry gets built up around it. And the Vesk have no interest in sprawling over this planet.
So Command 3 is going to be here on Vesk 3?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a command on every planet, imaginatively named after the planet of Vesk 2 has the Command 2, Vesk 3 has Command 3, etc.
I've got good news, guys. We can go shopping. And also we got an unusual offer from an Eshuveo Fireheart from the Vesk military. So it's a potentially dangerous but profitable job for us.
The last time we got involved, we had a job that involved the military. We ended up turning against our employer.
I mean, technically that was an under the table weapons deal by the Golden League.
True.
We made more out of that than we could have done.
You have a good point, Trix. That perhaps dealing with a more lawful organization will be a nice change of pace. I hope to God that isn't ironic foreshadowing.
They certainly are lawful here. We should be very aware of that.
Well, they are lawful. They are literally the law.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's just the other side of that.
Yeah.
Lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil. Yeah.
Semantics. Yeva herself used to be lawful, so, it's a great idea.
Yeah, the crew used to be good, but then you did illegal weapons dealing, and maybe it slid a little.
The good guys, in our opinion. But we'll be doing it on our terms this time, and for a bigger client, which might mean a bigger payoff. I assume the Vesk military is a bigger client.
Make me. No, you know this. They are, they basically rule the system.
Yeah.
They are also likely to pay fairly well, given the fact that they have a military budget.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking on the lines of big money jobs, hopefully.
Okay.
Cool.
Kind of excited. Like a big job.
I mean, the flip side is they just hold us at gunpoint until we do the thing they want us to do, but we'll see.
Wait, we're allowed to do that?
We are not allowed to do that. They're Well, they do that quite often, actually.
I'm all very judgmental of this.
Can we go on a...
We've had lots of jobs, and I think that this is the only job we've had that has been pretty straightforward, with no surprise turnabouts or.
Wait, are we talking about this new job that you haven't done yet, or the last
the
one?
one we recently had? The most
I mean, the
surprise-
surprise turnabouts. I mean, we were ambushed by a who's he, what's it, cowman. We
Bloody
found out
cows.
Jahir was possessed by his own augmentation. The cows
That was
exploded. Well, the defects exploded.
Like I said, pretty straightforward compared to our previous experience.
No, good point.
Just the
good
one
point.
assassin. It's
Yeah.
been pretty run of the mill. Just a milk run for us. Why would we be suspicious of for future jobs?
Hmm.
To be honest, I stopped listing at danger. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I heard danger and thought, yeah, no, that's pretty. At least they're advertising the danger this time.
That is very true.
So let's go.
Oh, before we go, can we ask Calm about their communication with this person and like how that went down? Were they like, we're looking for somebody, or were they asking for a job, or like, how did that play out?
Make me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy from Flimsy is...
And yeah, but if you still have Glimmer or whatever it is,
veneer.
Charming Veneer.
I don't feel like Flimsy needs it with this.
It's a 26.
No. I wasn't looking at the numbers.
I didn't even look at it either. I was just like, if there's anyone here who can talk to a fellow tradesman.
Then Calm. So like looks at you and it's like, well, you know, we sometimes get some individuals who pass through here that have less than sparkling records, and they occasionally ask questions as to the whereabouts of such people. Don't worry that I didn't mention that you were such people. No, I didn't. I was just basically telling them and detailing them as to who did pass through here, and well, I mentioned that you were loyal to the Empire.
As long as we're here, we are.
We did actually buy licenses to do the defrax wrangling, so.
Yeah, we were on the
law-abiding.
level of this whole thing. We even pointed out they had a pothole in the road and helped with the local infestations? Question mark.
I mean, you didn't really put much of a dent in the infestations, but yeah, you didn't shirk your responsibilities in dealing with the infestation.
See you guys. Bye. Where is the money?
But no, they I've known I've forgotten how to pronounce the name again.
Afrovio.
Eshovayo.
Yeah.
Eshovayo, yeah, they like to check in with the Skidamanders. They are surprisingly friendly for a Vesk. Or maybe this is as an asset, at least. Who knows?
And as friendly as the best military gets, I suppose.
Well, we saved a bunch of Skidamander civilians and soldiers from a burning building when the swarm attacked, so, you know.
Oh, sounds like a regular nice guy.
What's our total ship shares at the moment?
I've got 39, but that seems like quite a lot.
We just hit.
We had... Go on, sorry.
We did just get 13.
Yeah, and we've been collating them collect. Well, one person's been collating them, which I assume is you, which is why you've got 39 of them.
Yeah, I meant we've got them, not I've got, so you know.
Oh, yeah, I have one, if it helps.
Okay. Because
Why do you have one?
I don't know. I just have one.
Is that the original one that was handed out during the summary dismissal? Oh, we weren't summary
Yes.
dismissed, but we were.
Yeah,
Right.
in which case that's a part of the accumulated total.
Yeah.
Flimsy's been counting it, just not asked you for it. We've not got down to 0 at any point.
I'd like to ask Carm if he does regular trade with Command 3 and whether or not we can take anything with us to sell.
Nice.
Not at this. I mean,
You can fit a surprising amount in there.
He's just started a new venture, essentially.
he started a new venture, and you could slaughter some defects so you could take the hides, but that's not quite what the venture was about.
Right. Okay. No worries. Just sniffing out business opportunities.
Yeah, most of our goods do go to the Empire, but mainly further afield. We're mainly in agriculture and livestock, and well, Vesk Free is on this planet. They can find that just about everywhere. So most of our goods go off-world.
Just bring them a load of defregs. Like we're swimming in defregs. What are you doing? Get them out of my office. But yeah, I think we had 30. We spent 4 upgrading the ship, and then we just got 13. So that should bring us to 39. If that's
I am not keeping track of this, being totally honest with you. I am relying on somebody else keeping track on it.
That would be me. Then we have 39.
That is a number it shall be.
Perfect. I've also written it down in case we need it in the future.
Any further questions?
Can you recommend anywhere good to eat in Command 3?
Not really been there too much myself.
Maybe we'll send you a recommendation then once we've been. And look,
Should have recommended Zobans.
that was the plan. You should try this place out. Look after the little ones and keep an eye on them. They're a good hearted, but they can be a little bit clumsy.
So everybody gets back on the Fool's Gold,
Yes.
and you're flying over to Command 3.
Yes. Did we end up taking Mom and D then? Or did we just ditch the goblins?
I thought we picked up Mama D, right?
Yeah, I believe we picked up Mama D.
Yeah. I was just like, are we just thinking of the goblins and not taking the deep friends?
Finally, we can dump those goblins.
They were taking up all my holodeck time. I'm glad they're gone.
Are we going to check Mama D and realize it's 3 goblins in a in a defrag suit?
It's a deep friend suit.
I'm pretty sure Jahir would notice the difference.
Well, maybe.
Also, the goblins were reminded that the only reason why they weren't murdered by Jahir was because they were part of the crew.
In song form.
So yes, you arrive in Command 3's airspace, and you are alerted as soon as you come into range. Hey. This is Command 3, Fool's Gold. You are cleared to land at landing bay 16.
Damn right we are.
Is there any further assistance I can be today?
Should we mention his name? Should we say we're looking for him, or Yeah, this is a military complex, and we're looking for a military guy. So we're looking for the office of Eshovayo Firehearts.
You
Is that
will
your basic thing?
receive an escort on your arrival.
Oh, delightful. Thank you very much.
Should we ask him if he knows a good restaurant or bar? Or... How friendly do you get with the Airtel traffic control?
They're usually quite chatty, but I think with Vest's military, it's best not to venture there.
I can still hear you. Is there anything else you would like to know?
No, we're good, thank you.
Flimsy's like stamping on Jahir's foot, making sure he doesn't say anything.
Vic, were you about to say something?
No, I was gonna turn the comms off and drive in.
Driving?
Flying.
Flying?
Mm.
So you are not driving Fool's Gold down the street. That would be weird.
Trix would do it.
This thing can fly higher, Trix. It can fly higher.
No!
I wanted to drive it, so I'm driving it. And yes, you land with not much of ceremony. Again, a view that you're not unaccustomed to when you come to alight the Fool's Gold. You are met by a number of Vesk.
Flimsy would like to have warned the crew that if they didn't hear on the comms that we're going to be escorted.
As the door opens, Jahir's just saying to Flimsy, "Oh, I'm sure he would appreciate it was a joke about tactical nuclear warheads, you know? I'm sure he's got a funny... Oh, wait, hang on. The door's open. Let's go out."
Greetings, and I assume that you are the crew of the ship.
Fool's Golds. Papers here if you need them. Well, digital
not on
papers,
this
I guess.
occasion. If you would like to follow me, and they promptly turn around and start walking away.
Oh,
where
sweet,
are we
we're
going?
not getting
to?
a pat down.
You're trusted.
The fools. We're going to Eshovayo, remember, Flimsy? You know, the guy who's offering us a job.
I just wanted to make sure that's where these people were taking us.
I'm gonna have changed and put out of my Defrex Wrangler outfit and put on my corporate agent outfit.
Ooh,
Yeah,
snazzy.
Good point.
Deselect.
Deselect.
If anything, I would say like Yeva kind of looks like how she looked pre-stealing the Fool's Gold. And it's maybe it's a little like odd to like see her look as stuffy as she once used to.
Put together.
Uh-huh.
We've gotten used to Kajiva.
Is this Edge Yeaver, or is this horse-eye optical plate Yeaver?
I think it's Horsehead Yeva.
Horse edge Yeva.
This magic is getting out of control.
Because I bought that professional clothing on the horse head.
Yeah, and you were there to make an impression. It's just I wasn't sure if you were going back to sort of like corporate lifestyle kind of.
Well, it's not the party. It's not the party dress. It's the corporate. So it is a corporate. She's wearing her blazer and her pantsuit, essentially. But all Edge paraphernalia, of course, not being on there.
Yeah. No, that's been cleaned away. Anybody else changing before you alight?
No,
He'll go
Trix
back
is just
into
going
his,
cash.
You meet, or they basically walk you to the offices of Eshayo. Eshvayo. We're just going to call them Esh.
Eshovayo.
Esho.
Oh, the Firestone.
Eshovayo. You're escorted to the offices of Eshovayo. They knock on the door, salute, and walk away. You hear a gruff voice on the other side of the door. Come in.
Go in. Flimsy searches the door for traps. No, we'll go in.
Fools, the trap goes off in your face. No, you go in, and it's a well-appointed office space. It's not too extravagant. They're not high-ranking, but it is, a serviceable desk, few papers on the desk, few chairs scattered around the room. A selection of books adorns one wall. All seems to be sort of like training and warfare material, kind of like Sun Tzu's and the like, for those of you who care to take note. Greetings.
Good afternoon.
Hello there.
All right. There has been an incident that we would like you to investigate. Over at the True Blue Dye Works, they've had a break-in recently.
Dye Works?
Yes, they make and manufacture dye.
Yeah.
Is this here on Vesk 3?
Yes, indeed. The reason why we've called in outsiders is the rather delicate nature of the primary suspect, as well as it falls outside of the Veskarium, and so our presence would be noted. You are independent traders. You will be free to come and go as you please.
You're looking for us to be a little bit low-key, incognito?
Pretty much. You won't officially be working for the Veskarium. You will be working for yourselves.
You've come to the right crew. Subtlety's one of our other middle names.
It's Yevers.
Mostly Evans.
You mentioned that True Blue does not fall under the purview of the Veskarium.
No, True Blue is a Veskarium manufacturing facility here on Command 3.
But the primary suspect is not a Veskarium citizen?
They were.
Care to share any more information on that subject? She raises, and I don't think she has eyebrows. But she would if she had one.
Our primary suspect is Agarvana Oathbreaker. An enemy.
With a name like that.
Sounds like
She
a
earned-
Trust him.
She earned the name when 8 years ago she deserted her unit and demanded the Empire free hundreds of imprisoned criminals. When the Veskarium declined, she murdered hundreds of thousands of innocent people who burned alive with a bioweapon. Hence, Oathbreaker.
Makes more sense that the name would come after that rather than before.
The desk names are earned by their actions and their valor,
Oh,
and are subject to change.
well, this sounds like a war criminal.
And with that, they have gone into hiding. They are aware of our tactics, they are aware of our presence and style. And Beskarium ships suddenly appearing in the orbit around a planet not in the Beskarium tends to start alarm bells ringing. Hence, the Fool's Gold.
Interesting.
May I ask, why do you suspect Agavana Oathbreaker of breaking into the dye works? What did she do there?
It's probably best to wait for that when we go to the dye works itself as part of the initial part of this investigation.
Okay. Noted.
Very well.
Noted.
And do you have any leads on a location? It sounds like you know where they are outside of the Veskarium, perhaps.
We know of one individual who might know something. Again, we'll detail that in the later investigation. I don't want to give you too much detail, as you understand, unless you're under the employ, unofficially, of the Veskari.
All right. Then I assume this is where we begin negotiations. Can you?
I mean, the Veskarium don't negotiate. 5,000 credits up front and 15 BPs if you can, ship shares if you can bring her back alive, 10 ship shares if you bring them back dead.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. 5K creds, 15 or 10 ship shares.
Just Eva's face when that figure was when that figure was started out.
She's been wanting new armor. That would do it. A quick
But
look
yes,
around.
like I say, this is non-negotiable, but it's now up to you.
She like turns around, looks down at the rest of you. What do you think?
It's not negotiable, but in terms of perhaps fringe benefits, you say we won't officially be under the employ of the Veskarium, but should any official entanglements come up, would we be given the all clear?
Your actions will be cleared with the Veskarium military. So, as long as you don't go antagonizing one of our warships, your actions will be dismissible.
Yeah, that's good. As long as we're not being boarded and raided when we're on our way back and they end up killing them if we've managed to get them safe. We won't get them back alive, maybe not safe.
I mean, the Veskarium military wouldn't do that. Why would we attack you?
I meant like a more of a import search type thing. Like if we were flying around, they just decided to do a random check of us. A random.
I mean, I highly expect once you leave the system, you won't return unless it's here to Command 3, where I have some say in the jurisdiction.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a safe bet.
Okay. Well, I think we're interested.
Very good. And he puts down a cred stick on the desk.
He very politely slides it over and puts it in her pocket.
Can Flimsy stop Eva's hand really quick?
Those 5,000 credits were never seen again.
Absolutely. Like you can grab her hand before she like pulls it off of the table.
This is the credits. Is there an agreement? And kind of like mimes, a pen.
No, you want contracts.
Maybe nothing too official with the Veskarium at large, obviously for the purpose of this mission, but maybe something personal between ourselves so that we have, should there be any complications, records.
I mean, you accept the cred stick, you accept the job as far as I'm concerned, but if you want to draft up some documentation, then I will gladly sign them.
Cool. Flimsy will make it out to Eshivayo Fireheart rather than to the Vesk Empire on the consideration that we're not meant to be working for them. It's just something for him, I guess. Maybe just Mr. Fireheart. Super subtle. No one will know who it is.
But yeah, you draft up a quick contract. It's vague, is more than anything. It's like the employee of the Fool's Gold shall be blah 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 money. There's hints as to who, or there's hints as to what you're supposed to be doing in the terms of dead or alive, but it doesn't stipulate who or against what party.
I'm into this. This is less trading and sounds way more like shadow running. And I think that's a really nice change of pace for us.
I don't know how big this person's going to have to be to use our expanded storage bay to its best capacity. One last question, Mr. Fireheart.
Don't forget, you are going out there under the guise of traders.
So trading will be any good insights into trades we might be able to ship in that direction?
Guys.
From here to there, foodstuffs is a good, safe bet. There are many delicacies on this world that you might not be able to get out. The location is likely to be a Veskarium refuge of sorts. Enemies of the Veskarium tend to gather, as it were.
Refuge as in a refuge from the Veskarium. That's quite cool.
Most of the individuals there, you should note, aren't enemies per se of the Veskarian military. They just have grievances with what the Veskarian military do. Having never formally signed on with the Veskarian military, they are not considered deserters. They are not your enemy. They're just not Veskarian citizens.
Fair enough. Last question from myself, I guess, is do you want us to bring in Agavanya Oathbreaker? Or do you want us to bring in the person that broke into the manufacturing facility if they don't happen to be the same person?
Oh, Flimsy dropping the mic.
I just like that you've said that in person.
David's gonna like stare hardcore at his answer, and I'd like to roll sense motive on this. Even
Thanks.
before he's even said anything, I'm like, she's like.
Oh no.
You broke the general.
Broke the GM.
Yeah.
0 point. Inspiration.
I don't give out them things even when I am. It's one of them. As I'll detail earlier, I highly think that it's undoubtedly Ragavana, but if you do find that it is another individual, then bring them in alive with sufficient proof that they do not have ties to Agavana.
And that will satisfy the contract?
Indeed.
Deal. Sorry, go on, you.
You were going to do a sense motive.
Sense
yeah.
motive, yes.
Can Flimsy assist?
You can make your own sense motive.
Okay.
Natural 20 for a 27.
It's a 10 from Flimsy.
Flimsy, you have no suspicions that he has any cause to lie to you. Either he is a man or Vesk of conviction. Everything he is stating is as factually accurate as he is making out, as far as he is aware.
As far as he believes.
Yes.
If there were to be someone else where was the person who perpetrated the crime, and we happened to run into Agavana along the way, and were able to bring her to justice, perhaps there would be an additional bounty in it.
They are undoubtedly have allies. There is no additional bounty on this. We are only interested in Agavana and stopping them before they do any more damage.
Understood.
Are you interested in Agavana though? Are you interested in the person who stole the items?
We're interested in not allowing the Hellfire toxin from being weaponized again.
Ooh.
So that's what was stolen.
And that comes in a blue variety, I assume.
Esho Vaio has just arrived back with his coffee. And a coffee with 7 sugars for Trix.
Yeah!
And is now wanting to escort you to, the initial site of the investigation. It's a bit of a leisurely stroll, so you had a little bit of time between here and there.
So, Esho Vaio, Yeva feels like she's gotten a pretty good read on him. But have you lived long in Command 3?
I've been here a few years. After the swarm had been taken care of, I got my medals and assigned here in Command 3.
How does your family feel about being here?
I'm not sure how Vesk families work. Are they very tied?
2.5 Vesklings, I think, is the tradition.
I imagine they'd be very achievement oriented.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. One of the things about most lizard-like or dragon-like creatures in fantasy settings tend to be clutch and communal based. So they don't really have a family structure per se. You're born of a certain clutch of eggs that have been fertilized by God knows whom, and then you grow up together and you disperse. So you don't really have close family ties. The close ties that you do have are with your brood or clutch.
So in this case, all that's with the same mother, because they're matrilineal, are considered siblings, no matter the father, and have the tightest bonds with their clutch mates, exactly as you said. So,
It's a lizard thing in fantasy settings. I don't know why.
How's the old brood getting along?
she's really more like, does your partner enjoy living on Vesk 3? More like driving towards that side.
I am not partnered. I am married to the military of anything.
Oh, well, that's a shame. You'd make any, and she uses the term for matriarch in Vesk, because I just learned Vesk at this level. I think you'd make any Vesk matriarch a proud clutch father Vesk term. She's like showing off.
There is a certain stature that goes towards that, and it's not something I've really achieved in my career. Maybe one day.
And with that, she'll return to like just walking silently next to him.
Are there any reactions from the crowd from Mr. Fireheart walking through with us?
No. Most, it's like 1 out of 10 individuals you see walking around is Vesk military officer. And they're coming and going everywhere. It's not, you're not sticking out like a military officer walking through a supermarket.
In full regalia.
Yeah.
That makes sense. There's no one going like, oh, it's the savior of the Skinnerbanders during the swarm attack. Like any of that kind of business.
Yeah,
in that one house.
It was more of a hobble, but anyway. But no, everybody's minding their own business. Is there anything you guys would like to do along the walk?
Trix is just kind of keeping an eye out. Like she's always kind of like, how much trouble can I get away without being caught?
Being escorted by a military
Make me
officer.
a perception check.
He doesn't need to know what I'm looking for. $23.
It's tricky. There's a lot of law enforcement potential. It's you can't turn a corner without bumping into another officer. Doing something now, you'd have to be very subtle, or very, very ballsy, and hope that you just get away with just audacity.
Yeah, Trix is just going to be sipping her coffee and grumbling that she hates military bases.
Are there any particularly good areas of sales that seem to be going on that we maybe able to invest in on our trip to wherever we're going? Food items or anything stand out?
Not particularly. You're heading upwards. Eshovayo sort of like gives you a bit of a tour guide experience. It's like Command 3 is strata into layers. The earlier established foothold is the lower layers. However, this has been built on and built upon. And as the power goes up, the corruption goes down. I would best advise that you stay away from the lower levels. They tend to be the most problematic with the criminal elements. The bigger corporations and investment firms are towards the top of the strata. Somewhere in the middle it starts to migrate more towards commercial and residential facilities before degrading into, unfortunately, the more I want a word and I can't think of it. So
undesirable elements.
Yes, undesirable elements. But yes, unfortunately, you won't find much trading up here. Not with, well, I wouldn't suspect with your budget.
You don't know our budget.
I don't, but I suspect that you don't trade in companies.
Not
We've
yet.
just traded company with some goblins only recently.
My point exactly.
I once had a friend who traded her company, but I see your point.
So, we are here, and you eventually arrive, assuming nobody else wants to interject. I'm sorry, did you hear? Was that no or?
That was a no. Sorry.
It's all right. It's just all I was reading, and it's like, oh, that was Jahir saying something. We should pay attention to that, and it's like, what? So you come to True Blue's corporate headquarters, lies on the upper layer reserved for industrial and commercial facilities. The expansive and lavish corporate campus includes what looks to be 20 different dye production facilities and its own maglev transport system, a sculptured garden, and an exercise facility.
So the factory has its own sculptured garden, sorry.
Yes. It's fancy.
Yeah.
But you got to be on the upper tiers.
Some people just have too
makes sense.
much money.
He leads you through the facility, through a security checkpoint, that then leads into a warehouse, a greenhouse. And this greenhouse is strung with cables bearing large desiccated leaves weighed down with shriveled dried berries. This room shows signs of forced entry and battle, bloodstains, broken glass, and scars from weapons. Captain Fireheart plucks a leaf from the greenhouse wall and turns it over and delicately splits into one of the brown sacks with the back of his claw. A tiny golden insect with thousands of legs and circular mandibles crawls out and over the vest's hand. The Zyapids burrow inside the leaves of the bruwaro bushes, he says, and only grow around the city of Zadaya, south of here. Skittermanders call these things the gold of the green garden planet. But the real gold is inside, as Esho Vayo crushes the insect between his nails. A vibrant blue liquid dribbles down his finger. Zayadara Blue. It's so popular, the whole company is named after it. However, about 1 in 100 of these Zyapids holds a more valuable treasure. Too small for you to see, a bacterium that's used to create a biological weapon called Hellfire Toxin. Hellfire is so dangerous and lethal that even the Veskarium restrict its use. Shortly before I contacted you, a team of highly trained and as of yet unidentified individuals broke in here and killed more than a dozen people, including 8 civilians. When True Blue took stock of the damages, they discovered the theft. Hundreds of Zyapids, all carrying the toxin and slated for disintegration. We have a lead, a Formian by the name of Jacek Beskask. They used to work at this facility and visited unprompted just before the attack. We have a reasonable suspicion that they stole the bugs and then set up the attack to cover their tracks. There's only one person who has ever successfully weaponized the Hellfire Toxin, and she used it to slaughter a city of innocent people. The Gavana Oathbreaker, the Butcher of Buranda Maran. We think this Formian, Jask, is working for Avagava. We don't know whether she is, but Jask owns a music shop on Gaskar 3, a planet in near space. I want you to go there, interrogate Jask, find Oathbreaker's whereabouts, and bring her back to me. We have questions.
Just to clarify the series of events, they think that an ex-employee who's a Formian called Beskask, if that's right.
Yep.
Came back to work the day before the attack, stole the bugs, and then the attack was to cover up the missing bugs. That's Esho Bio's theory.
Yes.
Well,
The toxin, Hellfire, what does it do? How does it work?
When dispersed into an aerosol, it will cover a very large area. This large area. Anybody who breathes or breathes in the toxin or and comes into physical contact with it will start to feel like they are burning alive. Quite literally, if all they are, their body will start to overheat and they will eventually die sometime later due to dehydration and other nasty side effects of overheating. Unfortunately, it's not very fast acting, so there are individuals who are unfortunately resilient to its effects, but not immune.
And these 100 bugs were scheduled to be destroyed, did you say?
Disintegrated, yes.
Are there a sense motive on that?
Yeah.
I know we've already had an idea of him being on the level, but that's one in particular. It's a 9 from Flimsy. It was almost a 9 too.
You have no reason to suspect him of lying.
Are the bodies still here? Or have they been cleared away?
The bodies have been cleared away.
Would it be possible to see the bodies?
Why do you desire to see the bodies? I could probably clarify any questions you might have, but
I just wanted to examine wounds. Maybe there's a particular type of stab wound or weapon, shell casing or something like that.
Most of it was projectile weapon with caseless ammo, military grade. We suspect that they're working with a group of individuals who are, well, nefarious terrorists.
And there's no footage of the break-in anywhere?
Well, there is footage, although there is very little to see, I'm afraid. But you can review it if you desire.
Look, it'd be useful. This highly trained group of terrorists, do you have any idea of what their motives are? Have they done acts like this before?
If they're working with Oathbreaker, then she killed a city.
What was she trying to... You said remove criminals from prison. What exactly were they imprisoned for?
She listed hundreds of imprisoned. Some of them for as little as loitering, others for murder and other such drastic crimes.
You know the motive behind her wanting them released?
Not at this time. It's one of the other questions we would like to ask.
There's no correlating factor between all of the ones that they asked to have released?
Not as far as we can make out. Potentially it is a list of individuals that they sympathize and or work with.
Are there any workers that were left alive? Or?
There are other workers, yes.
And maybe did anyone witness it? Or
I mean, they witnessed a highly specialized group of armed individuals explode the outer wall there, march through here, killing anybody who was seen to be in contact with a Jask before essentially making a show of stealing something and then leaving.
Yeah, but how many is an armed group of individuals? Say 4?
40?
About 6 in total. Sorry, not about 6 in total. 6 in total.
So it's 5.5.
Jas
was a drone.
Was a known figure around here. They visited often?
Not excessively. They arrived unannounced. They are known around here, and friends of the other employees.
Did they leave under any questionable circumstances?
Not at first glance, which is why we believe they walked out with a suitcase full of hundreds of these NAPs to be disintegrated without anybody raising the alarm.
And do you have footage of the day they visited?
It's the same day.
The same day?
Yes, shortly after they left, the attack began.
Okay.
So, do you think did one of Jask's friends who works here that they survive? Can we speak with one of them?
Everybody who came into contact with him was eliminated.
Some friend.
Somewhat suspicious then, yes. I can see where you'd find that questionable.
What is the name of their music shop on Gaskar 3?
The shop is Sonic Future
Ooh,
in
that sounds
Gascari.
Oh, is that sorry?
cool. Sonic
In
Future
Gascari,
in
you said?
Gascari. The city of Gascari on Gaskar 3.
Yes. Or town or village, I don't know. I'm guessing it's a city. It is a city.
Sounds like, I would hope it's like the capital of the system with a name like Gascari. Maybe they're all Gascaro,
They're all called-
Gascara.
Unless it's Jazz Curry.
Yes. Maybe that's what the kind of music they sell at the music at Sonic Future. Okay.
We have a start.
Right.
You have a start.
Trix, you wanted to review security footage, yes?
Yeah, inside the building, maybe the surrounding buildings.
I shall make all of these available to you. Although, please remember, once you leave the facility, you are not officially in the employ of the Vescarium. Don't take any of the files with you.
Right. She kind of looks at Trix and Flimsy. It would make the most sense to review those files in the system here, right?
Yes.
We wouldn't want to remove them off site if we're not wanting to raise suspicions.
Yes, that's what I'm worried about.
Why? What are you worried about?
Out of character? I mean,
Yeah, out of
if
character.
you were to send it to us and have them be doctored.
Right, fair enough.
But I'm
really
not
don't
trained in
trust this guy.
computers.
He might have doctored them.
We
Yeah.
showed up at the Conqueror's Forge and they were like, "Don't stray from the flight path or we'll shoot you out of the air." So it was a little like, a little triggering, honestly.
When's the other boot gonna fall? Is the... As he checks his pockets and finds like 15 of these diapedes of people. No, I didn't put them in there.
Trix is like, "Shh, Lindsay, not yet, not yet." Put more in his pockets.
Teos, you want to review the footage?
If we're able.
Follow me. I'm going to take you to a security building. The security guards are booted out and they start loading through and scanning for the files. They give you they allow you access to the controls, but the footage starts with Jask, who you now get to see on the camera.
Yeah.
Do you get to see? Oh no, that's I'm not looking in images. I'm looking in items. That's why I can't find them.
Do that every time.
Asks an android. I know where there's still racism. Oh Christ, there nearly is.
Oh,
I love Formians.
Distinctive Formian face.
Those very hollow eyes.
Yeah, very, very hollow eyes.
It's like one of those masks you buy, like cheap masks you buy for Halloween.
But you basically see footage of this individual riding one of the service entries, discussing and making small talk with one of the individuals before they're allowed inside. Vio points out this is an incomplete breach of regulations. He's an ex-employee. He shouldn't be allowed inside, but they're left under no suspicious circumstances. So, just coming back to visit friends, that kind of touch. They are sort of taken in. They grab a coffee in the canteen, chat with a few people, go down to where they worked, which they worked in disintegration. And they chat with a few people there. And when, there's a moment where they're left alone, they substitute out the briefcase of specimens designated for destruction, before making their farewells and departing shortly thereafter. Within a couple of minutes, again, this is now from a different camera closer to the facility, you see a team of soldiers who basically blow a hole in the structure and start going through the place, executing everybody who Jask came into contact with, before making their way to one of the processed containers of this Zendaya Blue and leaving with a sizable quantity of it.
Strange.
They seemed so professional, but why wouldn't they have come for the security footage?
The idea of the attack covering up Jask's theft. Jask must have known there's security there and would have caught him on camera. It'd get off the planet maybe, but it wouldn't get him away from suspicion.
That's the bits that's not making any sense. Is why kill everyone that Jask talked to if we have him if we have the footage of him clearly stealing a briefcase of some things.
The thing is, with the event, security personnel were more looking for individuals in the armor and regalia of these individuals. They weren't looking for a solitary traveling forming.
Got him off planet, but not necessarily out of suspicion.
Well, unfortunately, that might be enough time that Jask and Oathbreaker's group needs to weaponize the Hellfire. If
Do you know
that's
how
their
long
goal.
it would take?
We do not. Oathbreaker is the only person who's been able to weaponize.
So getting right, Jask stole a briefcase of these fruit bug things.
The
With the bacteria
Deopods?
required to Xenopedes
The one in a hundred.
to the one in the hundreds that when processed can make the Hellfire toxin.
And the soldiers stole containers of the toxin?
No, the dye.
Just the dye.
Just the dye?
Seems like a cover-up job to me. Something doesn't sit right.
But it can't be a cover-up if there's video evidence.
No, but what I mean is I feel that there's two different tales going on, and someone's put them together where they shouldn't be.
Yes.
We admit that it doesn't seem to be a flawless plan by any means, but if this is the assumptions that we're having to work with, it seems odd that Jask visited, and not moments after they left, the assault began.
Certainly suspicious.
No one knows how to make Hellfire die except this Oathbreaker.
Yes.
Could
Or
just
to
Could be the
weaponize
die-
it.
Could be the dice needed.
The die can't be artificially reproduced. It's a very
Valuable as
vibrant
well,
blue.
right?
Yeah, it's valuable because of the amount of bugs needed to be squished to dye anything of size in this specific type of blue, which apparently is very popular.
Did they steal it in a vat? Sorry, did they steal it in a vat?
A container, yeah, a vat-like container.
I feel like a steel drum kind of vibe.
Pretty much, although probably not steel. Rust would interact with the dye.
What? This might be too much. Do you know what kind of blue? What kind of color blue it is?
It doesn't give me anything more than it's just a vibrant blue.
Okay. I'm just
Human eyes
curious.
on Earth have never experienced Sidaria blue.
Although it wouldn't
Octarine
actually surprise me if you Googled it and found that there is a Zydaya blue, and this is their interpretation of how it is manufactured.
I'll let you Google it. I don't want to accidentally stumble on anything spoilerific.
Will do.
Okay, well, it's possible that the security footage was just a simple mistake. I mean, just because they seem like professional terrorists does not mean they are incapable of mistakes.
Did we track the movements back, or before they entered, blew a hole in the door, or after they exited?
We've tracked them as far as the surveillance will allow. Unfortunately, it doesn't really give us any indication. They were at least professional enough to know where the black spots and the black spots and security were, get into cover there, and then proceed with the objective. They went back and disappeared.
You would have logs of their ship leaving coming in and leaving.
We have logs of all ships that come and go out of Command 3, assuming that they actually landed in Command 3.
Got no ships that happen to have travelled to Gascar afterwards immediately?
Not apart from the passenger lined out, which is how Jask left the system. But that was amongst hundreds of other passengers.
You may have answered this already. When did the theft take place?
About a day ago.
Okay. Okay, then we better get moving. I think we can probably get to Gascar, but as quickly as a passenger liner with our ship, and hopefully, I can't imagine, but that we would be slower. But it seems like time is of the essence here. Plus, shopping.
Yeah, we need to start. We need to pick up some cargo while we're here.
Ready our supplies.
So yes, I hope my faith in you has not been misplaced.
We'll try for alive more than dead. Do you have any recommendations for that?
Don't kill them.
Mercy weapon fusions. Put your hair.
Wonderful.
There we go.
I mean, they make the recommendations of the usual stuff, non-lethal batons, cattle prods, mercy weapon fusions. Some of the manufacturers also go for like non-lethal solutions. They can't really make any personal recommendations. It's not in the style of the Vesk.
So is there a time frame on this? Sorry.
As soon as possible.
Well, kind of the clock's ticking. The proverbial clock is ticking against us finding them before the Hellfire toxin is created. Realistically.
Could we catch up the passenger transport and maybe stop it mid-space somewhere? And...
That might be piracy.
We
I'd
don't have
rather...
authority as soon as we're out of here.
Yeah, if we can get to the Sonic Future Shop, set up an ambush. If Jask returns there.
And remember, I can give you no authority outside of the Veskarium.
You'll get to shoot something soon, Jiggy, don't worry.
Been like a
In the
day.
meantime, shopping.
Shopping!
Ooh. So yeah, I agree that it seems like there's a couple of different stories going on. As Jahir said, I think that sounds like it's possibly either an unfortunate coincidence or something else along those lines. But we have no idea yet.
And also, I feel like there is a blatant lie here in that this Oathbreaker's the only one who knows how to make Hellfire toxin.
Someone must have made it before them, otherwise they wouldn't know it was a thing to be worried about, right?
Although otherwise they wouldn't
weaponizing.
regulate it so much because like I don't think our Vesk knows. But there's bigger things at play that I'm trying not to look too much into.
Was there any overt? I guess there isn't any overt security presence at the dye place because they got broken into. But like more military presence than you'd expect from a dye facility, I guess was the question. But I'm guessing if a squad of 6 broke in, then it's unlikely.
Most of the security in Command 2 relies on the fact that it's just got a very heavy military population.
Okay.
So, as soon as we take our leave of Mr. Fireheart, Commander? Captain?
Captain.
Captain Fireheart. Yeva will pull out the cred stick and split it up.
You want me to split that amongst you?
Yeah, I think it should be 1250.
I don't know. Yep, 1250.
All UPBs.
Oh, did I accidentally give you a D when you?
He lied to us. We knew he wasn't legit.
I mean, I'm sorry, everybody.
Delete it and then.
The thing is, Yeva, you had 10 UPBs.
Yes.
Jahir, you had 250 UPBs. Everybody, Flimsy and Trix, you're down to 0.
Yep.
If you delete it, I can redistribute.
Got it.
Shake the cred stick even and try again.
That didn't load right.
Yeah,
She
put
like
it out,
blows into
blow
it
on
like
it, and then
NES
put it back in.
cartridge.
There we go. You're getting kind of wealthy as a party. Although I'm not saying, one of the things that I find with Starfinder groups, there's usually one person who will blow every single credit that they've got and never have any money. And then there'll be somebody else who just hoards. And the other 2 players will just be somewhere in the middle between broke and hoarding.
Can you tell us who's who?
You're all very much in the same place. Admittedly, I've not really given you much money to play with.
Yeah, we've got almost all of this just now.
But yeah, just to note, Jahir, I thought you were taking the Emanating Hand as a trophy.
which one?
Emanating Hand Mark
The
2?
Innovating Hand Mark II.
Party sheet.
Yeah.
Oh no,
'cause-
I took the sword, the bone blade.
Yeah.
But it's from the same individual. I wasn't sure if you wanted both of those as trophies.
It's a trophy
Oh,
more
no.
than a thing for your wall rather than a.
Is it worth
Is it really-
anything?
It can be recycled if you wish. It's worth 20 credits.
Can you?
No, I got the blade. I was happy with that. So.
Yep. All right. And apart from you've got some other stuff in there. Here's an ideal place to sell it as well. The Skyrim aren't too concerned with the poisons that you're carrying around or any of the weapons.
Flimsy's taken the mine layer on the off chance that if we are going to set a trap, we can put some mines down. Because it's the device that does it. Can you reduce the number of healing serums by 1? Flimsy will take 1.
All right. Are you
I
selling?
have 3 healing serums on me, by the way, so feel free to pick. Other people can pick the other 2 up.
I have 2.
I've got 3, so I'm also good.
Do you hear?
To hear and
I've got 1. So,
Then you and I will both take the last 2.
okay.
I feel like we're going to be stabbing Jahir more than Jahir will be stabbing us with
Mhm.
healing potions.
Does anybody want the poison?
The only person who's going to use it, I imagine, would be Jahir.
Yeah, I'll take it. There's no harm in having it, I suppose. Is there?
No, as long as you don't trip up and fall into the vial and cuts you or anything. But yeah, you'll be fine.
What you hear does behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. He just builds up an immunity to the toxin by slowly giving it to himself. Shall I take all 3? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go for it. We're not going to put it on any of our stuff, I don't think.
Just change the amount I've got in my inventory to 3.
Yep.
If you can delete that.
Delete the rest. All right. We've only got the Emanating Hand. It's useless to you guys. Might as well be recycled. And the Tactical Infinity Rifle. I believe that was Flims's. They've upgraded to the Excavation Laser. We chunking these things?
Flimsy's already got. He's still got his.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was my rifle. That was
All right.
changed to the rail cannon.
Fair enough. We're junking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
There you go. Another 38 credits apiece.
Woo.
So
All right.
if Flimsy sells a couple of things, he can afford the battle harness power armor that he can't use yet, but he would have it.
You can let Jahir borrow it just to try.
Including not being able to afford the personal upgrade, which would let him be able to use it in the future. So might have to get that first.
Gift of the
It's just
space
'cause
magi over here.
It's so close to that figure that I'm just like, oh, do I just put it in now? Do I just have it?
I'm curious for flavor's sake. Of the personal upgrades, what would be more likely here on Command 3 to find? Magic,
Ooh.
technological, or hybrid?
I would believe it's more likely to be technological. Maybe the hybrid, because the technological is essentially a. See, this is the thing. It's like the magic one is essentially a crystal filled with memories of experiences that you interact with, and it empowers you just magically. The hybrid one is mainly known as a symbiote, some kind of creature, biological in nature, that inhabits your body and raises your abilities up. The technological is essentially nanobots injected that strengthen muscle, fine-tune reflexes, or rewire synapses of the brain to give you such benefits. I don't see the Vesk being particularly magical.
That's what I was thinking.
I think historically they probably would have been more symbiotic because that was some creature that could potentially exist within the Veskarium or one of the conquered worlds. I feel, though, that they don't like being reliant on such things, and so would be more geared towards going down the technological route.
Okay. Then I will get some synaptic accelerators for my charisma. Which I feel like her skin would be like tighter, like moisturized. Her eyes would kind of glow, like she's getting plastic surgery, basically.
It's like you've got the charming veneer on naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just got Botox.
Exactly.
Lindsay's fitting some synaptic accelerators, maybe the same kind of like weird lines of the internal mechanisms that Flimsy's got through his skin now on his forearms, making like runes on his forearms as he is increasing his strength.
Trix, do you hear?
He is going to go with the symbiote, unsurprisingly. But I don't know what to upgrade. Not sure what to give the +2 to.
It's one of
It's
them
good
where
for
it's
Jahir.
like everything is useful in some regard. We can probably rule out, no offense, Retro Ted, the mental stats, because intelligence, it will get you more skills, but that'll basically take you from 3 skill points a level to 4. Wisdom will increase some of the skills, but being only at a +1 at the moment, making it a +2, it's going to help, but it's not going to make a major difference, I don't feel. And charisma doesn't really seem like Jahir's style.
What are you saying?
The Constitution would increase the number of hit points, or is that kind of stamina?
Hit points.
Stamina, maybe? I think the hit
It's
points
going
stay
to
the same as
increase
race.
your overall health pool, either in hit points or stamina points, or maybe both. Nobody can quite remember at the moment. And it's also going to buffer up your fortitude. Dex, as long as you're wearing armor that allows for a +2 bonus, is going to raise your EAC, KAC up by 1, your reflex savings up by 1, and increase
Ranged
a bunch
attacks.
of your skills, as well as your ranged attacks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or you've got your strength, which is essentially putting all your eggs into one basket, bumping that up to a massive +5 at level 4, that will allow you to hit that a little bit harder and hit that a little bit more frequently. But the only skills that it's likely to modify is athletics. This just in, increase of con increases stamina points.
There we go. Selling items is 10% of their value. Is that right?
Yes.
Cool.
Trix is going to get a personal upgrade for her dexterity.
What flavor of personal upgrade?
Probably the nanites.
Fair enough. So it's only Jahir going down with the biological entity that is creeping underneath their flesh and melding with whatever part of the body they desire. Good question, Jahir. The symbiote. Did you name it?
Obviously, it's called Bob.
Yeah. They have such common names, these symbiotes. I love it.
If I can get 3 of them, well, the possibilities are endless.
And they set us back 1,400 credits a pop.
Yes.
I think you all got them all from the same shop as well.
Can we get a bulk discount?
No.
Can we say we're getting it on
actually,
the
make me a
business? Get discounted.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy check. Here we go. Does this count as trade goods? Do we get a reroll? Oh, it was on that 18. It's a 15 in total.
This does not count as trade goods and no discount.
How do I? Sorry, how do I apply an armor upgrade?
This is where it gets a little bit convoluted.
I've found it under item templates.
Right. So one of the things is there a button at the top of the item screen that says Forge? Wait, no, I've lost a bleeding... Oh no, under item templates, at the top of the item templates, is there a Forge button?
No.
There isn't for the players, which means that basically this is one of my minor complaints about Fantasy Grounds, is I click into the Forge, I can put in a piece of equipment, I can put in item templates, and I can click the Forge item button that then puts that item into the available to buy list.
It applies the template to the... Okay.
Which is a bit of convoluted bits, especially when I'm, trying to keep the ball rolling on the narrative side of things. It doesn't allow you, the player, to deal with these things. So generally, what I recommend to players, unless they desperately need me to make it up like that, is just go into your gear, there's a plus button, name it whatever the upgrade is, and then its location wants to be the initial item. So if you, and that'll put it into that item and underneath that item, and also when you come to switch it out, you can move it around however you desire. I'm not going to be making you make rolls for armor upgrades unless you're trying to do it in the middle of a war zone.
Yeah, presumably I'm buying it like this.
You could buy it, and it's like they'll either install it for free, or you could get Flimsy to do it back aboard the ship. You got plenty of downtime as you're traveling. Flimsy can do it. It's one of them. It's all like, it kind of makes sense that you need somebody with engineering to do it, but the DC is so low that anybody who's a half decent engineer is going to hit it. And so it makes a whole roll a bit moot.
Similar with like fusions.
Fusions, not crafting, but anything, repairs, that's another one. Refitting, every piece of armor that you pick up, in theory, needs refitting to whoever it needs to be sized to, because we got a guy with 4 arms, we've got a giant lady, we've got your average human, and then we've got a smaller than average dwarf. All armor needs.
Taller than average dwarf.
He's taller than average, but he's the smallest out of the group. So, if you guys are average, then Flimsy's kind of short.
It's true.
Okay. So I am done shopping.
What else did you buy?
I sold my Kasatha microcord armor for 46 credits, and bought carbon skin graphite with a Mark 1 agility enhancer that removes the armor check penalty to my acrobatics check.
Nice.
Basically, space for her wings.
Did anybody else make any purchases?
Lindsay was going to buy an advanced medical kit, but it is incredibly expensive, so could not do that.
It's going to be one of them. I'm waiting for it. It always happens. Somebody will invest money and buy something, and then the next set of loot that you get will contain one of those. It is just very much on point for any Starfinder game that I've ever run. It always happens. I don't know. I've not checked to see what is coming up.
I mean, it was just like the +2 to AC. I think is going to make a huge difference. I hope, at least.
It doesn't hurt. But we now have what I feel is the average of the parties. It's not like Yeva has spent all their money. Jahir has hoarded most of their money. Trix and Flimsy have the middle ground.
I've been wanting these two things.
Jahir, you did reduce your credits by the augment.
That's doing it now.
I think that'll apply actually. Jahir, Trix, and Flimsy all roughly at the same level. So it's only Eva who just spend.
I got 200 credits left. Which maybe I should just turn into UPBs. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you can turn them into UPBs. You know, you can move them back and forth. I don't penalize that at all.
Perfect. No, I mean, like, I've been wanting armor upgrade for a while. I've been working with the same armor since the beginning of the game. And I was saving up for that personal upgrade. I had about 900 credits when we started today's session.
Yeah, you've just had money thrown at you this session, I feel. In comparison to the rest of the game so far, it's not. Money hasn't been one where it's like, it's not been thrown at you.
It makes it feel good to be being free traders because we're actually getting cash for it. It feels like we're being rewarded for going and doing free trade.
Yep.
But for the interest of Jahir, I don't know whether he's interested in getting such a heathenous item such as a merciful fusion, but that allows you to do non-lethal attacks without penalty.
Why would I want a child's toy?
Exactly.
It would also turn your weapons magical. It's never a bad thing to have.
I've already got one of them magical already because it's got enchantment on it.
Enchantment.
It's more about we'll be earning 50% more if we bring them back alive, Jahir.
Can the Mercy weapon fusion be turned on and off? That's another question.
It can be. The fusion can be.
Yeah. So it's one of them where it's like if Jahir could buy it, get the Mercy thing, but at the same token has the option of turning off and still murderizing things if they so desire.
I've only just got my railgun though. I've only shot it once. My rail cannon. I could be non-lethal with the rail cannon. I could just aim for their legs or something.
It still makes it more difficult to. You can make it non-lethal with your swords and everything. It's just it makes it more difficult when it's a lethal weapon. The Mercy weapon fusion allows you to change it between a non-lethal and a lethal weapon.
It's a swift action.
As a swift action, and when it's in its non-lethal mode, you can't kill anybody with it.
Backlash.
Oh yeah, you've got a backlash.
Just for that finishing blow, keep an eye on the Keep an eye on that attack bush.
Usually the point that somebody crits and it's like, oh.
Actually, speaking of fusions, I'm gonna spend some time to move my bright fusion from my azimuth laser pistol to my cylindrical lens pistol, and then sell the azimuth.
You're selling Trixie's azimuth laser pistol.
Do you want it back? We could resize it.
No, I've picked up another one in the interim.
Perfect.
So Trix gave you a laser pistol as a gift, and now you've sold it.
Didn't I pay them for that?
You bought them a
You
gift.
gave me something. Oh, you gave me the gloves.
Hey, yes.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
No, wow, I am the one who spends all their credits.
Yep.
It's just so exciting.
All right. Oh God. So you're in near space and you're traveling to near space. I think it's 3d6 days, isn't it? Because you're do wish it would tell you in this, but it doesn't.
We're already in near space.
You're already in near space, but there isn't a very clear path in near space to somewhere already in near space. The only advantage you get is going back to Absalom Station. So I think it's 3d6 when the destination is in near space.
Right.
That's what you count it as.
Because I always think of it as near space as being like a ring around Absalom Station, like the inner ring, I guess, if we were talking like Star Wars vibes. Is that what they call it?
Yes. I don't know.
The rim. There's the outer rim.
J Station.
Yeah. It is the outer rim in Star Wars, but with Starfinder, it's near space can be further away or closer. It's weird.
It's a very metaphysical, phorical thing where it's a bit weird because you can have a star system that is very close to Absalom Station, but because there's no drift beacons anywhere near it, it's considered to be in the vast for how long it will take to get there. Likewise, if you've got a system that is light years away, but is heavily concentration of drift beacons, it can be considered near space, but every star around it is the vast. So I feel that if it's in near space, if the destination is in near space, it's 3d6 days. Regardless of where you are in the galaxy.
Is that halved now because of our?
It will be halved, but you still roll the 3d6 and then halve it.
Cool.
We will be sorting out trade goods. We're likely to do that off air, simply because it's a milk run.
Been through the motions.
Yeah, we've been through the
Right.
motions. This is pretty much a milk run. You're picking up agricultural supplies. You're taking your system. So you get back on board the Fool's Gold, fully loaded with agricultural goods, and you're setting off for Gascar 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 3.
What do we know about the gas car system?
Make me a culture check or computers. I will accept computers before you leave Vesk 3.
15.
Dice have been awful today. 18 from Flimsy.
Gascar 3, Aquatic World of Exiles. A watery world of third from the star Gascar 3 consists of the crescent-shaped continent of Levanova, or and an irregular ring of islands, all surrounded by a massive storm-racked Yulalov Ocean. When formed billions of years ago, Gaskar 3 collided with an unnamed planetoid, reversing its rotation and knocking away the ejector that would form Relko, one of its two moons. In more recent history, comparatively speaking, the planet sustains a millennia-long ice age that weighted down much of the continental plates, and the continent of Lavnovia has gradually been rising from the ocean ever since, as the surface of Gaskar 3 reclaimed its largely submerged continent. Gaskari is the planet's major settlement. Gaskari is built in the shelter of the western foothills of Leinovia's Summer Mercy Mountains. There the early renunciants landed the Eponymous colony ship, converted the forward section to a temple to Waden, and built the city outward from there. The metropolis core is orderly and modern, with the outer neighborhoods forming the more individualistic sprawl.
Cool. Recently colonized. Or?
I need to... While most of the Gaskari's inhabitants are born there, many immigrate. It doesn't tell me roughly how long. Yeah, it's annoying because it's like they give me plenty of details on the early settlements, but it doesn't tell me roughly when. But I think it was actually fairly early on after the Veskarium discovered the drift.
Got it. Okay. So is it a Veskarium colony? The Wadenese colony.
The keyword that I think you'd be missed was the faction. The early renunciants landed. The renunciants are the first known humanoids to settle Gaskar 3 hailed from the Veskarium, which they departed as self-imposed exiles. Most of the Vesks refer to themselves as renunciants, followers of the pre-Gap Vesk prophet Gaskar Yulalov, who received visions from Waden, god of equality, and preached against the growing Veskarians' violence and tyranny. Far before any Vesk ventured to Gaskar 3, the authorities of the time arrested Yulalov for his dissension, reckless advocating of freedoms, and inciting the public to eschew Vesk norms. His execution followed swiftly, and his disciples rallied around their new martyr and continued to gather in secret in far-flung corners all throughout the Veskarium for generations, nurturing new generations of radical thinkers, artists, writers, and scientists.
Cool.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So essentially, it's a rebel faction of the Veskarium.
I know what my next character creation challenge character is going to be.
It's the Hylaxian Vesk. I think having Spoogles the planet, Flimsy will turn to everybody and say, it's a wet planet, and there is scuba gear that's quite affordable, or if you want to, you can get your lungs to be breathable underwater, depending on how things go. We're going to be on land, but the equipment's there.
Or we could just put our environmental suits on and breathe through the suits.
Mhm.
That's true. Does that work?
Yeah, it does, but you don't get any of the benefits. Movement and combat is difficult in water. With
Scuba
scuba
gear.
gear and the like, you essentially get a swim speed equal to your walk speed.
It
Run
takes
speed.
four rounds to put it on and off as well, because apparently it's the full stuff with the fins and the suit. It's like trying to put it on in combat. They go 4 rounds.
How much is it?
25 units is just why Flimsy brought it up.
Oh,
Linda's-
is that all?
Picking one up. Yeah.
You see, I'm just looking at Yeaver. It's like, I've spent all my money, but if there's more that I can spend
It's only 25 credits.
on scuba gear.
I don't like it's on land, the city, right? So
Yes.
okay, I'll wait
This
till
is
we
why
get
I'm
there.
so like,
I don't need it.
how much is Flimsy expecting this mission to go wrong?
You've
How
seen what's
south
happened
do you want
previously,
this
right?
to go?
If he said desert planet, he'd be looking at parasols and
Sunscreen.
sunscreen, yeah. Good lord.
Yes, I do believe that is where we are going to leave it for this week.
Cool.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I have been and will continue to be Karen Rushmore. You can usually find me here on Mondays, where I GM this, All That Glitters Explodes. After that, you can usually find me on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays over on my channel, twitch.tv/Karen Rustmore, where I play a variety of games. And yeah, come check it out. Flimsy.
Hello, I'm JStation64. You can find me on my Twitch channel on Thursdays playing No Man's Sky, building the new civilization, and on Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. in the morning, playing Red Dead Redemption 2 as Badman Arthur Morgan, as we're finally finishing off some of our challenges. And that's pretty much me.
Hi,
Yeaver.
everyone. Hello, I am Crifu Bernal. I'm Crifu Bernal everywhere on the interwebs. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed it, please join us in our Discord, the Manapot Discord, so you can get updates on the show and all the other great shows we have here at Manapot. Feel free also to check out the calendar and the great stuff. We just had a pretty great weekend, if I say so myself. I ran 2 one-shots, sort of, this past weekend here. And we'll be back on Twitch on Wednesday at my Twitch channel, where I'll be so close to the end of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And we'll see exactly when we get there.
It's never going to end.
It will.
Tricks.
Yo, I'm Crit Commissions. I do artsy things under the same tag across various social media platforms when I update it.
And you're here.
I'm RetroTed. You can find me on twitch.tv/RetroTed. We are coming very close to the end of Icewind Dale, Chapter 6. So I reckon probably 1 or 2 more sessions, but that may be Wednesday or Thursday. I haven't decided yet.
All right. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We'll be back next week. And until then, tidy bye.
Bye.
Bye.